Get so bogged down in our souls, paralyze ourselves with dread and worry, or be in such fragile lives that we really miss so much.
Good morning. Welcome both here in the sanctuary and also online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg's Sunday service. Now we are currently on the unceded ancestral lands of Tocobaga and Seminole Native people, which colonizers call St. Petersburg. And my name is Ben Atherton-Zeman. My pronouns are he and him. I'm the minister here. I saw many of you at the Pride March yesterday. It was great to be at Pride with so many folks from our church. Happy Pride Month, everyone. It was the summer solstice a few days ago, so happy solstice to all of us pagans. Muslims celebrated the Al-Hijra New Year, and the Unitarian Universalists are in the middle of our General Assembly. So I hope you'll watch the GA worship service after you participate in this one. You get two of them today. Now, Tim, our usual pianist and accompanist, can't be here today, neither can Dani. But I am very excited to lead worship alongside April Cook, who arranged the music and coordinated it. Gordia is up there live streaming. That was Steve Sanderson on the guitar. And today's worship associate is Zeman. Good morning.
Thanks, Ben. Good morning, everybody. If you want a church where books are not banned, love is love, and being you is always enough, I have good news for you. You may have found your church home.
Thank you, Cinda. We have two announcements. The UU St. Pete 101 class will be from noon to 2 in Conway South, thanks to our religious education staff for providing child care, so that's available should you need it. We'll talk all about the history of this church. Last week we talked about the history of the denomination. This also functions as class 2 of the new member classes, so if you're at all interested in becoming a member, you want to go to that as well.
Our second announcement involves shoes. Navigators USA Scouts are collecting gently worn shoes for a service project and fundraiser. I brought these shoes to donate, and I hope you bring yours too. Contact Religious Education for more information.
Now, many of you are new, and I'll let you know that Unitarian Universalists are people of diverse beliefs, but we do share a common faith that everyone in this world, every being in this world is worthy of love, that what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected to one another and to the earth. So whoever you are and wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. And that's my line too. We want to give a special welcome to any newcomers. So if you're new to UU St. Pete, I've been chatting with some of you. Can you give a little hand wave and then look around and notice that you're not the only one who's new? Welcome. Now, part two is I'm going to go get a microphone, and if anyone is willing to say a sentence or two about what brought you here, you can do that. But you don't have to, because that is terrifying for some of you, I learned. But raise your hand if you're willing, and I'll come to you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Quinn. This is my mother, Christine. This is my partner, Angie, and our son, Oliver. And we're from Minnesota.
We're the Sjogren's from Burlington, Connecticut. We're new in town. Our daughter lives here. We have 3 kids that spread around the country. We have 9 grandkids spread around the country. So this is our very first church here at the Universal Church. So if we don't know what we're doing, you can just look and tell us where to go.
Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Steve, and I'm just in town for the weekend because of Pride. Yesterday I got to march in the parade, but I'm actually from Zephyr Hills, and I am a UU. I've been a UU for some time.
Hi. Hello, my name is Jared, he, him, and I just moved to St. Petersburg about a month ago, and so I thought this would be a good place to meet new people. And also I haven't been to church in like 8 years, so it's interesting.
Good morning. I'm Grace Dunlap, and I just relocated here from Tampa, and I'm glad to be here this morning.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jeannie, and I've been in St. Pete for 7 years, but this is my first time here, and some derivative of the church came to Pride in Gulfport a few weeks ago, so that love there made me want to come, so.
Thank you. I helped staff that table, so good to know it worked. Anyone on this side? It's only this side that are saying things. Okie doke.
Excellent. Thank you all for sharing. We don't usually get that many. That's wonderful. Welcome. Please feel free to talk with all of us. We're all a wonderful group of people in this room, I'll tell you. For business, thank you everyone for silencing your cell phones. Regarding masks, if you'd like one, they're always going to be available at the entrance. Feel free to get one.
Masks. UU St. Pete welcomes children, hi children, and their unique energy to be with us for the start of our services. I'm going to do a time for all ages in a few minutes, and then they can head to our religious education classes.
So we're about to greet our neighbors. So remember to ask for consent before giving someone a hug or shaking their hand. But before we do that, I want you to turn to someone close to you and say, "You are enough."
just found out that prelude that Steve Sanderson performed is an original composition. Some of us are less musically talented, so the hymn in your order of service is number 1012, but I don't know how to lead that one. So we're going to change it to one that I do know how to lead. So please, please rise as you're willing and able. We're going to do 1008 in your teal hymnal. It's When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. More of a greatest hits. And we'll start on this note, when our heart, like that. Okay, ready? 2, 3. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. You sound great. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color and every kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place. Please remain standing for the lighting of our chalice. It's April. April Cook, as she lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. It's in your programs. Online, it is in the text chat. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. You may be seated, unless you are a child, in which case you are invited to come forward for our time for all ages. What? Oh, I have a prop. I have several. Hey, Oliver. Thanks for coming up. Oliver, this is your first time here, right? Wait! I will wait! Thank God you're here, Nora. Nora, this is Oliver. Oliver, Nora. Nora, do you know what this bowl is for? No. Usually you're gone by the time the bowl is brought out. Do you want to guess, Oliver or Nora, what the bowl is for? The adults can see it. You know what the bowl is for, Alex. Do you want to tell them? Alex, you want to tell them what the bowl is for? Oh, do you want to tell them what the bowl is for? No. It's for rocks. That's right. And water too, Alex, you're right. So this is what we have been using to put our stones of joy, sorrow, and concern. Now I say have been using because we operate on a shared ministry model and we are evolving both as a denomination and as a church. So this week at the worship team meeting where such decisions are made, they agreed that let's try a different way of doing it. Instead of putting the stones in this lovely dish where none of you can really see them, I was inspired by going to the Unitarian Universalists of Clearwater. And what they have there is a vase, much like this one, except it's straight up and down. And so when you have a joy, like, who has a joy? What's something joyful in your life? Something good going on in your life. Like, Alex, you were at Pride yesterday. Was that fun? Okay, so Alex being at Pride yesterday is a joy. And so I put the stone in the water and it goes, whee! You can kind of see it go down, and you can see the ripples outside the thing. And the worship service today is about finding renewal in little things. And we're using little stones instead of the bigger stones. The bigger stones are what the little stones land on. And these stones are nice. If just sort of taken by themselves, they're just kind of ordinary stones. But if they become magic stones, that makes them a little more special. Do you know how a stone becomes a magic stone? When I do a magic trick with it. So we will start with this stone here, and I will take off the lovely thing you guys gave me. All right, so this stone is a magic stone because it will float in the air when I throw it up. And I'll need Lucinda to hold my microphone for me while I'm... So you take the stone, and you put it way up in the air. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Did anyone see it? Well, it was in this hand, yeah, but then it's... Oh, this hand here? Oh, why would it be in that hand? It was in this... Okay. Now, I really needed that stone to make this work, so I don't know what to do without it. Can I just go behind your mask here? There we go. So now that stone, which was once an ordinary pebble indistinguishable from all others, now is a magic stone. And I'll do the same with these two, but quicker. All right, magic stone number one goes like this, and I'll just sort of fling it that way. And then I'll go. I really hope that's not a choking hazard. Probably should have this out sooner. You want a magic stone? All right. So, put this. Let's go. The pen. Magic stones. Sometimes little things become magic and become special depending on how they're presented and if they're given with love. So I give you these 3 magic stones with love. And let us sing our young people to their classrooms. Thanks for coming up. Doom, 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 doom. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Well, now we have come for the time in the worship service for joy, sorrows, and concerns. If you'd like to submit, like Dana's doing now, a joy, sorrow, or concern, and you haven't yet, feel free to fill out the card, bring them up to Ben or I, and now's the time to do it.
Please remember this is not a time for announcements, but for sharing what is on your heart. For those of you watching the live stream, you are not here physically, but your presence is felt. Hello, YouTube Live friends. If you have a joy, a sorrow, or a concern, please put it in the text chat.
So right now, Joe Wedman will place a stone in the water for each one that is submitted this week. You'll actually get to see the ripples emanating from the stones to remind us that the impact of our lives ripples throughout this entire community.
Now, the first stone is a stone of gratitude. I want to see how this works from up here. Stone of gratitude. Whoa, that's so cool. It's for the hospitality team. Now, the communications team has been thanking volunteers in our weekly newsletter. So those of you who read the weekly newsletter, you know that they were thanking the hospitality team for their incredible dedication and hard work setting up coffee hour every Sunday. Your efforts, Lucinda, Dana, Kathy Lee, your efforts create a warm and inviting space for us all to come together, connect, and enjoy each other's company after the service. From brewing the coffee to arranging the delicious treats, your attention to detail and welcoming spirit make our Sunday gatherings truly special. Your contributions enhance our sense of community and provide a wonderful opportunity for fellowship. Thank you for everything you do to make our Sundays brighter and more meaningful. We appreciate you, hospitality team.
Awkward. From Debbie Polis-Carter, a stone of concern. Debbie says, my health has gotten increasingly worse over the past few years. After some recent scary episodes, I've had many weeks of testing, and an electrical problem was found in my heart. I'm going to have a surgical procedure on Monday, July 1st at St. Anthony's with a short hospital stay, which is causing me much anxiety. If you could send out some positive vibes and prayers, I'd truly appreciate it.
And we have a stone of sorrow from Cheryl McNeil. Helen Paramore, I hope I'm saying that right, a longtime member, passed away. She was responsible for making the banners on the side of the church. These banners, Cheryl? Yes, all of the banners, says Karen. A number of church women helped with this project, and I have Helen Paramore's obituary here. Thank you, and love and blessings to those who remember her and miss her.
This is a stone of joy from Karen Frank regarding Reggie. He continues to improve. He is frustrated by now how easily he gets tired, but it's a little better every single day.
A stone of joy from Susan Gore, who is sporting a lovely mustache. Where'd you go, Susan? Yeah, there. Can you show people your mustache? Look at this.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Susan Gore was there. Yesterday's St. Pete Pride Parade has a wonderful celebration of unity and diversity, and that love wins. There was even a real live rainbow in the sky.
Awesome. We also have a stone from Quinn Barker, both joy and sorrow. They're visiting their parents and missing their grandmother.
Stone of joy from Azariah Moses. Hi, Azariah. 2 weeks ago, Azariah says, I flew to Washington, D.C. on the honor flight. Those of you who are your Facebook friends are seeing pictures of this. What a joy to be amongst other honorable veterans honoring our fallen heroes. It was eye-opening, overwhelming, and such an instructive experience. I'm glad you got to go, Azariah.
A stone of concern from April Cook for Tim Burnaman, our pianist. May he get well soon and be back at our piano next week.
A stone of joy from Ross Scott for Lisa. Lisa, who I believe is not in the room because she's working. Lisa, our wonderful sexton friend, she's always one step ahead of everything at UUSP, including our Pride Parade float. And she always smiles.
Oh, I'm going to play off that one a little bit from Dana, her wife. This is a joy and a concern for the joy. The Pride Parade, despite a windstorm, was great, and a concern that Florida can be sometimes inhospitable to the LGBTQAI questioning community.
Yeah. That's all. So let's keep in mind and hold in our hearts those members of the LGBTQIA+ community who still live in a state where there are laws passed restricting their lives, who still sometimes go to houses of worship that reject them. And if anyone has been rejected by their house of worship, please know that you can always come to ours. Let us hold in our hearts Helen Paramore, her family, her friends, and those who miss her, Debbie Polis Carter. All of us, all who are known and unknown, who are facing challenges, who are facing health concerns. And please join us for our responsive reading, written by John Rotter.
May our hearts not become calloused by the never-ending incidences of oppression and hatred that so many face each day. Rather, may we keep our hearts open to the positive efforts of so many people causing good trouble in the world.
May we have the strength to demand and gain the right for all people to have a safe place to sleep, health care to keep them strong, and the knowledge that their lives matter.
The struggle is taking longer than it should, but we will get there if we continue to strive for basic human rights. May all of us find a comforting and compassionate presence in the warmth of fellowship and community. And we will place one final stone for those joys, sorrows, and concerns that remain in our hearts, perhaps too tender to be spoken out loud.
Mystery is that we are all connected even when we feel apart. So let's rejoice in this beloved community that makes of the many one. And let's take about a minute of silence together before Steve leads us in Spirit of Life.
I want to sing this song a little different than we've sung it before. The second line says, come unto me, Spirit of Life, come unto me. I think we already have it. I don't think we need to call it to us. I think it's already in us, as it is in all things, as we are all connected, as we are stardust. So why does it doesn't need to come to us. Maybe we just need to see it and recognize it and experience it and relax and go with it. So I'm going to sing this through once, and then I want you to join me the second time through. And the last two lines I've changed to let me see, which is kind of carrying on with the theme that I mentioned already. Spirit of life, living in me, all the stirrings of compassion blow in the wind. set me free. Spirit of life, let me see. Let me see. And I'll pick it up a little bit more. Spirit of life, living in me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the air, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, let me see, let me see.
So, having found out recently that I would be doing the View from the Pew, and me being me, when I heard the topic was renewal by little things, I wanted to know how renewal was defined by others. I went down a rabbit hole, which only made me more confused and unsure about what I wanted to say today. So then I decided to Google some quotes about renewal, and there were two that I read that really struck me. The first was, believe it or not, Corinthians 4:16. So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. The reason I liked this so much was the positivity, that every day we can renew ourselves just by waking up. As someone without a job right now, which for me is not a positive thing, I needed to read this. I make sure I do something every day that makes me feel good and happy. The second quote was from the book Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak, Reshaping Life. People who can say that have never understood a thing about life. They have never felt its breath, its heartbeat, however much they have seen or done. They look at it as a lump of raw material that needs to be processed by them, to be ennobled by their touch. But life is never material, a substance to be molded. If you want to know, life is the principle of self-renewal. It is constantly renewing and remaking and changing and transfiguring itself. It is definitely beyond your or my obtuse theories about it. This struck me because I know a lot of people my age that would say they aren't happy, that when they were in their teens and 20s, they pictured this grand life that would lead them and make a real difference and impact on the world. The belief that you have to do something grand, like cure cancer, be a famous football player, or just be famous because you're awesome. At least that's what I thought about myself in my teens and 20s. I was going to be known in the world for just being awesome. As I got and get older, I realized that making a difference in one person's life on one day is awesome. This is what renews me. I like helping people, whatever that means. Finding them a job, reaching a high shelf at the grocery store, I do this a lot, or just telling someone I think they're doing great. I'm an extrovert, so I get renewed by people. Introverts, I realize not so much. However, there are many days lately when I'm alone and not with other people, so I have to find other ways to renew myself. Go swimming, walk on the beach, read, do puzzles, sing and dance around my house and pretend I'm Madonna. Vogue, 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 vogue. I found myself thinking of renewing as also self-care, and many people shy away from that term. I believe it's because the word self is in there, because that's also selfish, self-centered, self-involved, and many people think these are negative words. I find that sometimes I get in that place of I don't know what would make me happy right now. A walk, swim, or dancing isn't appealing. On days like that, I I will often walk to Dunkin' Donuts, not because I love their cold brews or anything. Okay, I do. I take the walk because the walk itself brings me renewal. I love our new home in Gulfport, and I have a special route that takes me on the cobblestone streets. And I look for the local peacock that he has a little tumor in his leg so he can't fly, and he lives in that neighborhood. Sometimes in one yard, sometimes in another, and it brings me joy whenever I see or hear him, and it becomes a game to see if I can find him that day. So, take a tip from me. When you feel a need to renew or practice self-care, take a walk, go for a swim, sing and dance around your living room, or go to Dunkin'. The cold brew is worth it.
I'll follow you wherever you go. I'll follow you wherever you go.
You need that on 3 or 4. I can't remember what we decided, but that one works? You sure? Okay. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seat while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sounds of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a Main Street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sounds of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Take my hand that I might reach you. Speak your words that I might hear you. And my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the well of silence. Then the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, the halls of silence.
Some of you have heard the story of the Zen monk who was chased by the lion. He ran from the lion until he came to a cliff. The lion's right up on him, so he kind of goes over the cliff and clings to a vine so the lion can't get him, but then he's dangling over a cliff. The lion looms above him, and he hears a sound below him, and he looks down. Wouldn't you know it, a second lion waiting at the bottom of the cliff. It is then that the vine's roots begin to slip. The monk notices a ripe strawberry on the vine. Reaching out with his other hand, he plucks that strawberry and eats it. And it is the best strawberry he's ever tasted. Have you heard that one? Who's heard that one? Yeah. Oh, only two of you? Now, Lucinda talked about some little things that help her renew. Dancing, swimming, puzzles, a bath, a walk to Dunkin' Donuts, and voguing, apparently. And in a moment, if we have time, I think we'll have time, I'm going to come out with the microphone. I want to ask you what little things help you renew. And I'll ask why it helps you renew, too. I'm going to go into the why for a second before I come to you. So, Dunkin' Donuts coffee, that's a sugary, caffeinated beverage. What turns it into a little thing that helps Lucinda renew. Now, for the monk on the cliff, the strawberry's taste might be influenced by his circumstances. Lucinda's reading of Corinthians 4:16, it asks us, the Apostle Paul asks us to pay attention to our inner self, that we might find renewal there, even if our outer self is running ragged. And there are little things that bring renewal that are also influenced by time. Now, some of you have read this book. If you haven't, I can lend it to you. It's called The Sabbath, and Abraham Heschel says in The Sabbath that Judaism is a religion of time, aiming at the sanctification of time, not of things. Heschel says the Sabbaths are our great cathedrals. They are cathedrals in time, beginning at sundown on Friday and ending at sundown on Saturday. Heschel says these cathedrals in time, neither the Romans nor the Germans were able to burn. And on the Catholic side of things, in his apostolic letter from 1998, John Paul II draws a distinction from Sunday, the Lord's Day, and the weekend, John Paul said, understood as a simple time of rest and relaxation, so not as sacred as the Sabbath. Hello, good to see you, welcome. And Heschel agrees. Heschel says, Sabbath is not an occasion for diversion or frivolity, not a day to shoot fireworks or turn somersaults, but an opportunity to mend our tattered lives. Now, some of us pagans might disagree, because to us, our bodies are sacred. So something like turning somersaults might be a joyful, even divine reveling in our sacred bodies. And Reverend Tricia Hersey believes that rest is resistance. In her upcoming book, The Nap Ministry, that's what it's called, The Nap Ministry. It's her website as well. It's so cool. Hersey says, my rest as a black woman in America, suffering from generational exhaustion and racial trauma, always was a political refusal and social justice uprising within my body. Rest as resistance. Hersey says, I took to rest and naps and slowing down as a way to save my life. Resist the systems telling me to do more, and most importantly, as a remembrance to my ancestors who had their dream space stolen from them. It is about a deep unraveling, says Hersey, from white supremacy, from capitalism. These two systems are violent and evil, says Hersey. History tells us this, and our present lives show this. Rest pushes back and disrupts a system that views human bodies as tools for production and labor. It is a counter-narrative. We know that we are not machines, we are divine. So So some context for little things. Professor Claire Wolfteich, in her book Reclaiming Sabbath as a Transforming Practice, says, quote, "The culture of theological education and church often nurture the same kind of frenzied activity prevalent in society at large," end quote. And I felt slightly personally attacked by this quote by my professor, Claire Wolfteich, because I do sometimes find myself kind of walking very fast from Conway to here, and I want to make sure the sound system's on, I want to make sure the live stream's working, make sure the air conditioning works. And this year my resolution is to slow down, which my body promptly said, okay. I hurt myself, and I'm like, no, not like that. But I try to, when I notice myself walking fast like that, to slow down deliberately, making my body do what my mind won't. So our worship is called Renewal by Little Things. We've had a month of renewal-themed worship, those of you who haven't been here this month. It will culminate next week when Allison Lonkey talks about renewal through mindfulness. And I'll give you one more quote. One of my favorite ministers, Reverend Nadia Boltz-Weber. She says that we have just the tiny things of God, she's a theist, so she says God, the tiny things of God at hand which help to heal ourselves in this busted up world. Small things that easily fit in a child's pocket, she says, but they are enough. And sometimes, like I said, it's not just things, it's actions like walking at a deliberate pace, like lying down on a soft bed. Circumstance and time also shape these little things that bring renewal. The rock I handed the kids as opposed to the rock sort of sitting there being a rock. And also intention and ritual. So, out of context, this sign, bless you, may seem strange in a Unitarian Universalist church. Again, for those of you who, there's not a lot of blessing that tends to go on. It's not that kind of church. And I rarely wear a collar up here in the pulpit. I did, however, wear a collar yesterday during Pride, and I held this sign up. I usually can't attend Pride because it conflicts with our General Assembly. Since General Assembly's online, I finally got to attend Pride. And I held up the sign and I blessed people with my collar on as we went by in that beautiful float. And it got a big reaction. Thousands of people were like, whoa, bless me, bless you too, thank you. It's just a simple little sign, but it had this meaning in this particular context. It didn't take too long to make, but my friend Natasha made it for me. And in the time it took to make that, she made this little thing that brought renewal to thousands of people. Now, I wear the collar at Pride events. I know some of you have religious trauma, and it's triggering to see me wear a collar. I realize that, and I do that at Pride events because members of our LGBTQIA+ community have often received harm from someone in a clerical collar. So I wanted to be someone in a clerical collar that blessed them, that saw them, valued them for who they were, not who I wanted them to be. Wasn't hard. Little things. All right, what little things help you renew and why? What? I still didn't hear it. Oh, Anne. Anne helps you renew.
Every Sunday, my husband and I listen to the soundtrack of The Sound of Music, my favorite things, and it's so inspiring. Yeah.
Favorite things.
So I like to dance around in my garden barefoot with my plants, and sometimes I sing to them.
Thank you, thank you.
I like to listen to and feel my cats purring. I can feel it through my whole body, and it calms me.
Music and Jehovah.
A lot of you already know, but scuba diving for me is what renews me because it puts things into perspective. Water is 70% of the earth. We inhabit a very little bit, so it grounds me to remember that like we are just such a small part of everything.
My morning stroll around my garden where I get to see what's new for the day and what I need to work on that day.
Hi, I like to take a walk in a very nice park down in St. Pete called Abercrombie, and I take my dog there every day, and we watch for dolphins.
Reading poetry, it centers me.
A nap. Hi, just the morning in general, but it was my job yesterday to watch online and get a picture of us as we went past on television, and I did. But I got to tell you, I was watching how the moderators on Channel 10 reacted to that when you held up the sign. They went crazy. They were like, bless you, and they called you a priest, and they were like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. I mean, they really, it was sensational. They had this. I have to, being gay myself, the negativity that most, lesbians and gays and etc. Suffer at the hands of religion, and you can see the reaction. They loved you, but they thought you were a priest.
I love them back. And the words "I love you" can be a small thing, but can take huge import. When Lucinda and I first were together, she would ask me to say it more often, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. I can say what I feel, And she taught me how to do it, and how to buy cards that said it too. I don't want money on cards, but it meant a lot to her to hear the words "I love you," and I've never heard them stated quite like I did on Friday, though. And some of you were there, those of you who are participating in General Assembly. How do I switch microphones? Apparently I'm doing it awkwardly. So Friday at our General Assembly, we were debating a business proposal that said embracing transgender, non-binary, intersex, and gender diverse people is a fundamental expression of UU religious values. And the resolution commits the Unitarian Universalist Association to condemning anti-transgender legislation, such as the laws that have been passed in this state and repealed in this state. And ultimately, the resolution did pass by 91%. But during the, isn't that great? It passed. It passed. But during the Zoom general session, people were speaking for the resolution, people were speaking against it. And folks who were speaking against it were causing harm by saying harmful things about trans non-binary people, about trans and non-binary children, and these people spread misinformation and quoted debunked studies about trans children, and several of us were there, and I'm meeting your eyes now. Did you notice the text chat? Everyone was typing ouch, and somebody please stop this, pleading from trans and non-binary UUs in particular that the moderators stop the speaker from harming them. Then, my colleague, Reverend Jacaren Olaoya, had her chance to speak. She was one of the sponsors of the resolution. You get 90 minutes and it's time and the thing goes beep. What did I say, minutes? Oh, you get 90 seconds. Sometimes it feels like 90 minutes, but you get 90 seconds and it beeps. And I'm going to end with Reverend Karen's words. And when I first heard them, I started crying, so I may cry now, but this is how I'm going to end my reflection with her powerful words. After this harmful language, she, at her Zoom screen, she started up by asking us to lean in, and then she herself leaned in so that her face was bigger and bigger on. And I did. I'll do what she wants. I leaned in. Here's what she said. To my trans, non-binary, intersex, or gender-diverse beloveds, lean in, lean in. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please do not leave this space without feeling my love and the love of others who see you as divine. I love you. You are divine. I love you. You are holy. I love you. You know who you are. I love you. You are worthy of being whoever you need to be to survive and thrive in this world. I love you, and I will say it for the remaining 50 seconds if I have to. I love you. Do not leave this space without knowing that you are loved. If you need a reminder, call me, email me, text me. What we will not do in this space is let you go another moment believing anything other than the fact that you are loved. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
In this sanctuary, the offering will be given and received so that we may take care of our beloved community and our vital mission.
What's given in love and is received with great joy. Let me say thank you. Please rise as you're willing and able for our closing hymn. It's number 318 in the teal hymnal, in the gray hymnal. It's called We Would Be One. I do know this one. Is this a good key to sing this in? Is this good? Okay. 2, 3. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new communion. standing for our chalice extinguished. Anne, would you do me the honor of extinguishing the chalice? Anne, do you mind extinguishing the chalice? I didn't ask you in advance. Oh, no, yeah, I meant you, Anne. Either Anne, but I looked at you, Anne, because I don't think you've done it before. Both hands will do it. That's cool. The words to use St. Pete's traditional chalice extinguishing are in your order of service and online in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Thank you, both Anns. You may all be seated for the postlude.
What's that you said, been not perfect? There we go. I got pressed into this when we found out that Tim was not going to be here today, and I've had two songs rolling around in my head deciding which one I want to do. I think I'm going to do a song by Leonard Cohen called Suzanne, and the reason I'm going to do that is, to me, it's a song of faith. Not just about Jesus, but faith, and it talks about little things like oranges and heroes in the seaweed and children in the morning. And I think it's just kind of an in touch with down to earth. So here we go. Suzanne takes your hand, she leads you to the river. She's wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army counters, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor. She shows you where to look, amid the garbage and the flowers, blooms in the seaweed. There are children in the morning, they are leaving out for love. They will lean that way forever while Suzanne holds the mirror. You want to travel with her, you want to travel blind, hope that you can trust her, 'cause she's touched your perfect body with her mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from a lonely wooden tower, and just when he knew for certain only drowning men could see him, he said, all men must be sailors then, till the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken, long before the sky would open, forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like a stone. You want to travel with him, you want to travel blind, you think maybe you'll trust him, 'cause he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Suzanne takes you down to a place by the river. You can see the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her, and you know she's half crazy. she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China, and just when you need to tell her that you have no love to give her, then she gets you on a wavelength. She lets the river answer that you've always been her lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust her, cause you've touched her perfect body with your mind.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks to everyone who pinch hit for today's worship service. Now, if you see someone around you that looks kind of cool, but you've never talked to them, we're going to have coffee hour. You can find them and say hello in Gilmore Hall. Our worship is over for the week, but our service begins, and I hope this time together will help you through that week and will help you remember you're not alone. Blessings.